Hello again, this is Jesse with another Unboxing Board Games. This time we're going to do an overview of the game Jab, Real-Time Boxing. This is a real-time strategy game in a card game format. We'll take a look at the setup. We've got the boxers' torsos here, represented by 3 cards, a head and a right body and left body. We've got the stack of counterpunch cards, stack of combo cards. We've got the punch cards turned face down to begin with before the round starts. Each player has 5 health tokens that will double as the round win tokens. When someone wins a round, let's say the player on the left side here won a round, they would take 1 health from the other player and flip it over as a round win. And the health stays the same between rounds, so if somebody finishes a round with 2 health and they lose, they could have 1 health removed from their side and begin the next round with just that 1 health. You've got a clinch token down here and a bell token. These tokens are penalty tokens. You could end the round early for -5 points and stop the game right where it is, or you could just go ahead and let the other player play through and finish out their cards. If, for example, you ran out of cards first, you'd have the strategic decision as to whether or not you wanted to use this -5 point penalty to stop things right then and there. And then this clinch token gives you +2 health, and whenever we're adding or subtracting health, we're adding health by taking tokens away from the other player and placing it on our side. You would use this clinch when you have no health and you're in danger of being knocked out and losing the game completely, regardless of who wins 3 rounds first. You could take this to give yourself a 2 health bonus and a -3 point penalty. And these points that we see on the counterpunch cards and the combo cards are what gets added up at the end of the round to determine the winner. They're the judge points. So you also have judge points that are on the different punch cards. You get different color backgrounds and different punch types. The punch types are pretty much all the same except for the different points that they provide, except for this haymaker. The haymaker allows you to stagger your opponent. You would play a haymaker on someone, and you could play another card of the same color background as that haymaker and yell "Haymaker!" and take 2 health from your opponent and keep going. This is a real-time strategy game, so there are no turns to take. If one player is playing slower than the other one, maybe they're just playing more strategic, but you play as fast or as slow as you want. Just keep in mind, if you play too slowly, the other player may notice that and choose to use this bell token. So when the game begins, both players are going to pound their fists together and flip over their cards, and the right deck of cards is for the right hand and the left deck of cards is for the left hand. I can place a punch card on my opponent, and I can place a card from my left hand across to the right side of my opponent. I can go anywhere I want with these cards. But what I can't do is take a card from my left deck with my right hand and place it out there. That's illegal. So 1 stack of cards per hand, left stays with left, right stays with right. The function of the combo cards is that whenever I've got, for example, the punches that are described on the card, the hook, the uppercut, and the cross all on my opponent, I can yell combo and place that bonus point card on my side of the table. But I've got to wait for those punches to line up on my opponent's body. Now, they don't have to be in order, but they've all got to be present. Right now, I've got a jab where I need to have a cross. I've got the hook and the uppercut, but no cross. So I've got to wait until my cross card comes up to make that combo. In order to use the counterpunch cards, if, for example, there's a chain of yellow background, one punch on the other player and one punch on yourself that has the same color as this middle counterpunch, you cover up the part of your body that has that color and you yell counterpunch, and you take your bonus card and you place it on your side and you take a health from the other player and put it on yourself, and then you keep going. So that's how those bonus stacks work. Now at the end of the game, we'll be scoring the stacks by placing your hand on top of one part of the body, just one hand on one stack, and that basically eliminates that stack from the choices of the other player, because the other player is going to choose one stack or the other to add up the scoring on these judge points. So I'm going to want to cover up the portion of the body that I believe they may have scored the most. Now I can reduce their scoring if they were to play punches on my character. And here's a good example. I can block a punch card by placing either the same color card on top of it, or if I have the same type of punch, like if I had a jab to place on top of this card, I could block it. And what that does is, later on when we're scoring one of the stacks, they will have to eliminate the highest scoring punches from that stack for every successful block I've gotten on that part of the body. It's important to watch out for haymaker cards, because if somebody places a haymaker punch on me, then I have to watch that they're not going to take another card with that same color background and place that punch on top of the haymaker, because then they can yell haymaker and take 2 of my health points over to their side and continue boxing. The haymakers, they've got the little skull symbol on there, so they don't add to the scoring at the end of the round, but they may not need to, because they're driving down your health, and if you get down to 0 health and get punched again, you're knocked out and you lose the game entirely, regardless of how many rounds anybody's won. So haymakers are important to block, and they can be blocked with any card, whether it's the same color background or another of the same punch or not. You can just block it with anything, and it's important to try to block those when possible. So we'll show some more scoring later, but it's important to kind of have a sense of what we're trying to accomplish. Aside from just knocking out the opponent, we want to drive up our score with the use of counterpunch cards, counters, and reducing their scoring with blocks. So we've set the game up here and divided the punch card decks roughly in half, and we're going to start the game by pounding fists and flipping our decks over and throwing our punches at the other player's body cards. Let's get ready to rumble.
Haymaker. Haymaker.
Counterpunch.
Combo.
Counterpunch.
Combo.
Counterpunch. Okay, so now both players have finished their stacks of punch cards, and what we're going to do is you've got to cover up one part of your body, and then the other player will choose a stack of cards for their scoring. And you're just trying to take a best guess as to which stack of cards you have the highest score in and haven't been blocked too much with. So I'm going to look at my stack of cards here, and I see that I've got one block in here where my uppercut was topped off by a uppercut with this white border from the other player. So that's a valid block, and I've got to take away any one card here that has the highest score. So I've got I've got several twos, so I'm just going to take one of these 2-point cards out of my scoring. So I can get rid of these haymakers with the skulls on them. They don't add points. And so I'm going to wind up with 6 points out of this portion of the body. Then I've got 6 more points in counter punches, so that gives me a total of 12 points for the round. How many points do you have?
4.
You got 4 points for your punches, and you add your combo punches, and that's how many?
13.
Okay, 13. So 13 versus my 12, she wins the round and takes 1 health token off of my side, flips it over as a round win, and then we would sort our cards back out, rebuild the punch decks, and pound our fists together again and start throwing punches for the next round until either somebody gets knocked out or wins 3 rounds. And that's a look at Jab, real-time boxing. And that's a look at Jab, real-time unboxing.